Other than that, I can't see, because so many things have been tried and were unsuccessful.
Nicolas Maduro is facing the largest wave of protests against
Trinidad and Tobago. Numbers of Venezuelans are already here.
De la patria, de la independencia.
This is my view, and with that, I can't see at this point in time or think of any other way of dealing with that problem.
Y del derecho que tiene el pueblo.
By the way, I'm not going to rule out a military option. We have many options for Venezuela. This is our neighbor.
The point of the exercise was to show you that in life you are always on audition. Whether you like it or not.
Venezuela is sitting on the world's largest proven oil reserve. Trinidad and Tobago for a one-day visit.
Always be aware of how you represent yourself.
Many students celebrated in several ways. In Parliament, says the Minister of Education speaking at a meeting.
This is not stepping stone. So when you point that interview, you take that.
Venezuela started the GDP per capita of nearly
It is unclear how long it will take to complete the registration for the numbers at Port Mall, and assistance continues to pour in from various NGOs, stakeholders and private citizens who contribute food.
Well, companies operating in the country are still, some of them, finding it difficult to access United States dollars.
Aún más fortalecer las relaciones bilaterales entre Trinidad y Tobago y
Effects of the recession still linger as another financial quarter passes. It is common knowledge that the best time for economic diversification is during economic stability.
Whenever there is a recessionary period, one of the things you want to do is to encourage persons to be able to spend more so that it kind of, put some money back into the system so that you're not really dealt a blow. So politics aside, in terms of looking at the current economy, it affords us the opportunity to go into diversification, to look at different ways that we can begin to inject into our economy new creative ideas.
This is a trying time in the life cycle of the Trinidad and Tobago economy. And we must not, however, waste this opportunity to learn. A recession is an important opportunity to learn. I myself have 3 young kids, and I say to them the things I am about to say to you. In a recession, it is important to build human capital, because human capital or education is the engine for economic transformation in this world. Paul Romer in 1981 in Endogenous Growth Theory said that ideas lead to the growth of nations. And so I would advise all young people during this trying period to try to build their stock of human capital. Certainly remaining idle at this point in time is not the solution, because competition between you and your peers would make it difficult for you to obtain employment if your peers are better qualified. So during a recession, you try to keep yourself busy, you try to improve your skills so to make yourself more competitive.
What you want to fail to realize is that the person sitting next to you, that person is the son of the cousin of a secretary within the country, and you just applied for a job in the country. So people are going to judge you all the time. So when you go in that interview, you think that what you present to them, that is going to be all that they're going to judge you on. And that's a mistake. They are going to judge you on everything that they know about you.
Effects of growing unemployment have been mostly felt in the energy sector, and particularly among the youth. In many cases, young people earn university degrees and technical vocational qualifications only to be told by employers to change their careers.
So you have to be ready from now to know how you're going to move. So what is the solution to that problem? What do you all think you should do in a situation like that?
Employers need to have an open mind and employ more. You have many Vision on a Mission where they have an arrangement with DOMA and they allow certain people to filter into jobs. So that is what I think employers can do and give me a means to have an honest employment with a proper financial remuneration.
Every single worker who gets a job in this country will have some basic terms and conditions of employment in order to stop the level of exploitation.
Despite contractions in the job market, government remains committed to helping youth by its investments in education and training. Programs such as NESC, YTEP, and MIC provide youth in many working class communities with an avenue for full-time employment.
How many people are arrested? What do you do arrest? What kind of people arrest? What? Official? Yeah. So like somebody right experience with us. Football, if you play football, right? And people arrest me, right? No, I have a very simple definition of arresting. Arresting is a representation of yourself. You're taking time, you're trying to save you or not. You didn't still trying to tell you. Or representing yourself. Arresting is a representation of yourself.
In addition to training, these programs also provide life skills designed to help young people attain a job and, more importantly, to help them keep it.
Facebook. Because I don't want Facebook. I don't want Facebook. What do you want Facebook? Don't like what's that? Check down. I don't want Facebook. Here is the picture I have on Facebook, right? You ready? Facebook is a representation of yourself. Facebook is a representation of yourself. I believe
There is no debate, however, that one of the biggest worries with a recession is that it amplifies existing challenges, particularly those that stall development.
Development to take place in an area. I believe there are persons on the inside. There are the masons, there are the carpenters, there are the plumbers, simple contractors that could handle it. But then how we treated in this situation where when you give a contract, a man who lived in down the road and who was brother to this man, a family, eating together, playing football. Because he knows the contractor who come and kill him on the job site. They shoot him on the job site now. Another man take up the contract. He now has to be on the lookout. The job cannot be completed. If I have to offer a solution, I always say to put the military in the distribution of the contract in some of those areas so they can be monetized and there is no warfare. So that everybody will have
Developers of a new transshipment port in Abray, southwest Trinidad, say
It's coming at an opportune time, especially as the country looks to generate dollars beyond that of oil and gas. Owner of the Brighton International Terminal, Hosein, says Trinidad and Tobago was blessed with its location.
Back in August 2013, as a means to tackle negative effects of the recession on employees in the energy sector, the Energy Center called on the government to invest in companies actually making employment opportunities available to young technicians. It is suggested that this be applied for the entire business sector.
There's a problem with unemployment, and we are at a stage now where there's competition. Everybody is trying to set themselves apart from the rest.
So what are you going to do now, right? You're going to find something to do. And the employer, nobody else is with friends. You have to have friends to be your friend. Right? And they ask your friend to see your Facebook page.
Recently, the Minister of Education, Anthony Garcia, advised students and trainees to make informed decisions in their education pursuits, to be proactive in seeking employment, and to remain hopeful that the industry will yield fruits.
A lot of young people, they adopt the attitude that when they're applying for a job, it is sufficient to print a resume, sign it, and mail it out to the firm or the organization or the company, and they hope that that would be sufficient. That would get them a call back or get them shortlisted. But what they have to realize is that that is a passive approach.
In 2015, the Caribbean Development Bank reported a worrying correlation between unemployment and youth delinquency.
One day, Frank decided that he would go to a party in Houston. And at that party, somebody offered Frank a drink called tonic. Atomic was a mixture of Red Bull, punching, a drug they called money, and a hint of lime. 5 hours later, Frank sprawled off on the lawn outside the house.
In addition to that, I also remember one thing that my father would say to my sister and I as we grew up. And the piece of advice would always be that there would be 3 things that you don't get back in this life. That would be the spoken word, the spent arrow, and the lost opportunity. And I think a lot of young people need to realize that they are wasting opportunities.
Education, education, this is the foundation. Our rising population needs sound education to be recognized anywhere you go. You gotta have your certificate to show.
Venezuelans that have the blessing of being Trinidad. We have food, we have medicine, we are able to work. This is a wonderful country.
Knowledge is the key to success. Children go to school and learn well, otherwise later on in life. Asistir y a vivir. Nos hemos convocado. Nos hemos convocado. No debemos hacer cadena en este momento. Ustedes saben por qué. Porque en este momento
He estado personalmente, y así lo quiero decir, he estado personalmente conduciendo las operaciones para garantizar la paz ante la convocatoria del fascismo hoy, con sus bandas armadas.
What sort of complications does the Russian involvement now pose? Russia has to get out. What's your next question?
The latest round of military assistance arrived on Sunday, March 4th, when 2 Russian military aircrafts landed in Makatia Airport in Caracas. This prompted Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to initiate a call with a stern warning to his counterpart in Moscow, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov.
We ask that member states contribute to addressing the humanitarian situation in Venezuela, as dozens of nations already have generously done.
The U.S. is preparing an imminent military intervention in Venezuela, something the U.S. denies, even though Donald Trump has indicated all the options are on the table.
We don't have a separate position. What we do have is a closeness. And we make no apologies, Trinidad and Tobago, for being on good terms with our neighbors, of which Venezuela is our closest neighbor. And therefore, if there is to be any kind of intervention into the business of Venezuela, it ought to be through an agency which the world's countries have put in place for such circumstance.
At this time, the nation began focusing on the future of its young people.
I always tell my own child that the only thing you have control over is the way in which you choose to respond to external stimuli. You have no control over anything but that. And what you do with it is how you choose to utilize your own control is what will make your next step. Do not depend on anybody else to create your next step.
The next week, Frank decided there was a cool idea to post up this picture of him swallowed from the Lord. This idea to post the picture was not only cool, but a super success. Frank got over 5,000 likes on Facebook and became known as Frank Great. Frank became an overnight star. 5 years later, Frank finished school and was getting ready for a job interview.
The problem can be summed up in one word: choice.
The issue of choices is really a universal problem that faces all youth. I will say to the youth, however, that there are choices that abound before you, and good choices. And the issue is to make use of the good choices and necessarily not to concentrate on the negative.
By this time, I found I threw up all of the picture that he posted 5 years ago. Somebody going out for the same interview and who never met Frank but heard about the adventures of Frank Great, decided to contact one of Frank's Facebook friends. That somebody decided to let the employers who are having the job interview know all about Frank Great, and they sent them the picture. Frank never got the job, and to this day does not know why.
As the recession enters another financial quarter, Trinidad and Tobago records another quarter of negative growth, and the strain on the job market increases.
Well, before I read that story, you asked a question. The question was, what are you going to do if an employer asks your friend, your Facebook friend, to see your page? And I said, let's ask Frank. That could happen to anyone. Frank happened to go from anyone, or Frank was to go for an interview. There was nothing to come in with a call him, and he never got that call.
Even in a recession, there are opportunities. It is up to parents and students to make the most of these opportunities as a platform to greater things.
I always speak about, when I was a young recruit, because I tell you, words are so powerful. I was a young recruit. On one Sunday, we were at the seafront, cleaning, they're cleaning brasses and so on. And just said it. So I went to pass. And of course, I go, stand up. And I said to the guys, I said, one day I was driving, everybody had a good laugh, including me. But eventually, that is what happened. But so sometimes, you will yourself. You say, it's like, once you say, I can't make it, you have to say, yes, I can do it. And once you have that will to do it, it's going to happen.
The greatest form of diversification is in our tastes and habits. If we learn to spend less, save more, and enjoy that which is good for us, then we would equip ourselves with the weapons to battle any economic weather. Whatever difficult waters hold off Trinidad and Tobago, the West Indies, and Venezuela, we can only navigate these waters with faith in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
At the adolescent age, most of the time, they would stray a bit. But no matter how far you stray, you must come back to what you know, because it is here in your mind. You understand? So when people say that you make the child and you don't make their mind, I look at it as nonsense, as an excuse for the elder delinquency. Because if you put in, life is a bamboo thing. Whatever you put in, when you're ready to make a withdrawal, is only that you could withdraw, nothing else.